Miguel Francis Santiago looks into just who's pushing for Russia to be axed from the UN Human Rights Council.
How did we come to this? A global coalition of Western-backed and funded NGOs has called for Russia to be thrown out of the UN Human Rights Council. Now, I'm talking about organizations like the Human Rights Watch, which has a revolving door policy between Washington and itself, and has been historically accused of being too close to U.S. government to criticize its foreign policy. And then we have NGOs like the National Endowment for Democracy, which gets its funding directly from the State Department. Now that's totally impartial, isn't it? So the voting's on Friday. The General Assembly is selecting new members for its human rights body, and this is from their website.
The General Assembly takes into account the candidate states' contribution to the promotion and protection of human rights, as well as their voluntary pledges and commitments in this regard.
So who's going to be there? Oh, look. Saudi Arabia might be representing its region. By the way, it also headed a key panel within the council last year, something human rights organizations weren't too happy about. Okay, so how is it going with promotion and protection of human rights in Saudi Arabia? Public beheadings? Sure, just like ISIS. Execution for freedom of expression? Check. Crucifixion? Check, check. Sometimes the sentence is a bit lighter, like 1,000 little lashes, but who cares, right? Fine, that's the kingdom's internal affairs. Let's not meddle. But what about foreign policy? Riyadh is carrying out a campaign in Yemen, and no, it's not humanitarian. They're killing people, thousands of them. Hundreds are children. Now, back in June, the UN even attempted to put it on the blacklist for war crimes. But guess what happened, or what didn't happen?
This was one of the most painful and difficult decisions I have had to make. I also had to consider the very real prospect that millions of other children would suffer grievously. It is unacceptable for member states to exert undue pressure.
Saudi Arabia are enjoying Western support, namely the U.S. Now, on the other side of this argument, we have Russia, a country that is battling terror groups in Syria.
Let's remember here, the people we are fighting today, we funded 20 years ago.
And of course, groups like ISIS, which evidently grew out with the help of Saudi Arabia, while the U.S. stood by and watched, as confirmed by Secretary Clinton in the latest Hillary Podesta WikiLeaks. So Russia is destroying those terrorists, while the U.S. is trying to get the last power figure, Assad, out of the picture, to perhaps have an ending like in Libya, which led to the migrant crisis, or perhaps like in Iraq with Saddam, which led to a power vacuum that helped conceive ISIS. So you see, I think, in my humble opinion, Russia doesn't want this sort of order out of chaos. But unfortunately, for whatever reason, the West clearly wants just that. I'm Miguel Francis Santiago, over and out.